What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Thank you for tagging along. I appreciate it. We're going to do an Elden Ring tier list today for all the base game bosses. So it'll be a great time. Again, thank you so much for tagging along. Sorry for the lack of uploads. Been kind of retooling some things. I think I'm going to move from Twitch to YouTube a little bit more. Not to any lack of Twitch's fault. I just think that YouTube is a little more enjoyable for me. So with that being said, once again, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all of you. We're going to start, and we're going to add some stuff to this tier list really quick. We're going to do a row below, and I'm going to say like forgettable or who. Because doing the prep for this, going through and kind of seeing like who was here, I was like, oh, these are alright. Like some of these I don't remember. So that being said, let's get to it. Battle Mage Hughes, D tier. Not super interesting, not a great fight. And yeah, he's just kind of there. He's not overly difficult. I don't think you get a great reward for him. And we're going for that. And for my criteria too, it's going to be mostly based on my first initial thoughts on him. Especially like some of the major bosses when I first played them and what I thought, because I've played the game probably a dozen times at this point. It's an S tier game for me, and we're going off of difficulty and design. Some of them, especially the dragons, are going to be more based on design and what their movesets are like rather than difficulty, because all the dragons fight the same. Another disclaimer, I cheese the hell out of this game. I don't care. I'm not out to prove anything to anyone or myself. The only game that I'm ever consider myself good enough at is probably like Siege. Not anymore because I don't really play it, but at one point I was very good at Siege, and the other point would be Tony Hawk's Underground, which, you know, maybe I'll start speedrunning that on, you know, YouTube or Twitch. I think in terms of live streams, I'm going to go to YouTube as well. So with that more out of the way, we'll get to it. Beast of Fire Missoula, F tier. One of the first fights that you get to if you're just running around. I didn't know about him until much later when I was going through and cleaning up every boss. And he's an alright fight. Not too difficult. Maybe if like I didn't fight him when I did, he'd be a little more difficult. But for me, he's an F tier. Bell-bearing Hunter though, A tier. They kick me ass every time. I don't know why I turned Irish there, but they kick my ass every time without fail. Doesn't matter the level I am, doesn't matter the build, I will die at least once. A tier. Borealis the Freezing Frog, we're going to put in Borealis the Freezing Fog. We're going to put B tier. Cool design, same old dragon fight, get behind their ankles, hit them with a katana, kill them. But cool design. Cemetery Shade, F. Not much to write home about. They're kind of neat, but they're not overly awesome. Clean Rot Knight, C tier. I don't really consider them bosses. There's a few of them in like Caelid, and there's a bunch of them in the Halig Tree. Not overly cool, but their lore is cool. Their design's cool. Not overly difficult. Commander Nile, A tier. He will always, without fail, beat me at least 2 to 3 times. His phantoms are a pain in the ass. Mimic is getting his ass kicked. Like, we always just get our ass kicked by Neil, whatever you want to call him. Blackblade Kindred, D tier. Just a gargoyle with a spear. Specifically, the one they've got is the one in front of Dragon Barrow. He's alright. He's not that bad. Black Knife, we're going to give a C tier. They're not very difficult, but their design is cool. Not much to say about it. Some of these guys, like, we're going to blow through them because not much to say about them. Bloodhound Knight, I'm going to give a B. He is a great reward, especially early on. Cool fight. Makes it easy with Blythe. He's okay. He's not overly, like, he is a definitely good boss. I just don't think he belongs, like, higher than B. Bull's Carrion Knight, I'm going to put in D tier. Almost forgettable. Actually, I'm going to put an F because he is almost forgettable. There's, like, I don't remember what he does, where he is. I remember fighting him. But yeah, not overly cool. Commander O'Neill, we're going to put in A tier as well. They're both very similar in terms of movesets, but stumbling across O'Neil like early on, especially my first playthrough, I'm like, oh my god, like this guy's, you know, kicking my ass. And he also progresses Millicent's questline, which is one of my favorite in the game. So yeah, we're putting him in A tier because of a lot of that stuff. Crucible Knight, same thing. I always get my ass kicked to these guys at least once. A tier for the difficulty. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter how many times I've played, I will always lose to them at least once. And they're going in A tier. Crystallians, D tier. They're not very difficult. Breaking them takes a long time. I don't use hammers. Maybe that would be a fun run through, would be like an Unga Bunga playthrough besides, you know, not just a giant club, because I use giant club all the time. But yeah, they're alright. They're kind of boring, and breaking them is just kind of a cool concept that wears thin very quickly. Decaying Exekeys, we're gonna put him in A tier. Always fucks me up. His design's kind of weird. Like, it's not great. Like, he kind of reminds me of Grail. His Scarlet Rot Breath will destroy me every time, especially the one where he creates an AoE. Will always beat me without fail. That's why he's going up there. These guys are F tier. They're typically like, they were my first side boss that I stumbled across, I believe, and they're typically the first stop that I go to get the Dragon Communion. If I'm wrong about these two guys, specifically where they're at, let me know, because I always confuse these ones and Demi-Human Chiefs, who I'm going to put in who. They're all kind of similar. So, Divine Bridge Golem, same thing, F tier, not really a boss in my mind, even if, you know, they are technically a boss. Dragonkin, Soldier of Noxtella, we're going to put B tier. Hard to find, cool boss, but he also kind of sits there for a minute. Like, if for some reason, every time I fight him, he's just sitting there. And he's just getting his ass kicked for 10-15 seconds when he activates. So, that's where I'm putting him. Erdtree Avatar, we're going to put in C. Every time I think of an Elden Ring side boss, these are the guys that come up. I love the rewards that I get mostly. The flasks and stuff are really cool. We're going to put him in C tier. Erdtree Burial Watchdog, so there we go. Erdtree Burial Watchdogs, we're going to put F. Their design's lame, their fights are lame, nothing cool to write home about. Esgar, Priest of Blood, we're going to put C tier. Just a dude running around with some dogs. Not really much to write home about, but I think if I don't remember what his reward is exactly, but it's still probably pretty good. Falling Star Beast. These guys will always beat me up. Take my lunch money. It's not very nice. B tier. Their design is like just a big bull, probably the point. But yep. Feld Twins, F tier. They're not difficult. They're not hard. Their arena is a pitch black area, so nothing to write home about for anything. Just a way to stop you from getting to a divine tower, which is just more of an annoyance than anything. Dragonkin Soldier, I'll probably put in C tier because I don't remember which one. Like, I remember this guy. I don't remember him. Placidus Axe, S tier. Love the arena, love the moveset. I always die to his laser or his diving grab, whatever you want to call that, every time. At least once. Probably die 3 or 4 times to him every single time. So, that's the first S tier. Elden Beast. The design is great. It's a cool arena. But I have not fought him since the Torrent update. And it's a slog to fight him every time, to a point where I avoid the final fight. I'll do literally everything up until that point. When I first fought him, he was easy as hell. I had Sword of Night and Flame, Mimic tier. Like I said, I cheesed the hell out of the game. Now, though, he's just kind of a slog. At least the last time I fought him. So, which was pre-DLC. Like a month or so before. So, yeah, we're going to put him in C tier. His design is really what holds him up, but he's not a very fun fight. You know, again, this is pre-Torrent, so. Elemer of the Briar, I like the Shaded Castle area a lot more than I like the fight itself. The fight's just kind of mid C tier. The sword you get, though, is pretty cool. Fia's Champion, F. Not much to write home about, just a few NPCs. So, yeah, not great. Leads to one of the cooler fights in my opinion, though. We'll get there. Fire Giant, I'm going to put an A tier. I do not have a hard time fighting Fire Giant. I don't know if it's the builds that I go with. I don't know if it's because he's a giant and he's easy to avoid. The only move that I have a hard time dodging is the second phase where he does the big like AoE explosion move. I always get hit by that, and it will kill me. He doesn't kill me all the time, but I've grown to really appreciate Fire Giant as like a design, as a lore, and he's going up in high A tier because of that. Flying Dragon Aguil, D tier. Typically the first dragon you fight. Not much to write home about. The first time is really cool. Every time since is like, alright, like I'm just killing you so that way you don't keep bothering me. Full Grown Falling Star Beast is going to be an A tier though, on the sole benefit of I die to it at least twice every time. Without fail. I don't know why. I cannot dodge or not get hit and killed by this guy at least once or twice. And yes, my vigor is leveled up, so. Glintstone Dragon Smaragd, we're going to put in B tier. I like the design of Smaragd a lot. He's kind of like in that same sort of category, but typical dragon fight, not very difficult. Godofroy the Gifted, C tier. He's Godric, but worse. Don't know why he's worse, he just is. He's not overly difficult. And you do get a good reward out of him, though. So that's also going to be kind of a criteria. Like if I can't decide where to put somebody, their reward will also tier them up. Godfrey the First Elden Lord, so they're including Horalu into this. We're going to put an A tier. If it weren't for Horalu, like if Horalu was considered separate, he would probably go to a B tier. He's a cool guy. But Horalu and the wrestling and the totally out of left field as to where his moveset comes from really pushes him into one of my more enjoyable fights of the game, even if he's not an S tier. But he's probably going to stay top of A. Godric the Grafted. He's not, well, initially he's a hard fight. He's not very hard now that I've played him a bunch of times. But I also feel that, like, going off of the nostalgia for the first time and seeing this fucking dude take an axe and cut his arm off was so metal. His voice acting was awesome. And, yeah, we're going to put him in A tier. Godskin Apostle. By himself is not hard, D tier. Godskin Duo, though, is an A tier. Solely on the difficulty. It's not a very well balanced fight. I also refused to use sleep pots for a long time because I just don't like to craft. And using sleep pots, his difficulty goes down to like a C tier, but fighting him the way that I normally do, which is me mimic and, you know, hopes and prayers, he's going A tier. Because again, I just now started using sleep pots for him. Godskin Noble is going to go to B tier. I believe that's the Spirit Collar one, is the one in the picture. And I find him harder to deal with than the Apostle, specifically in the Volcano Manor area. He's just a big fat bastard that is always a pain in the ass, and I always have a hard time fighting him, so he's going to go C tier. Grafted Scion, D. They're just kind of there. Cool design, but not much to write home about. Grave Warden Duelist is the same exact comments. Cool design, just a dude chilling out in a dungeon. Not very difficult. Kindred of Rod is F. They're not really a boss in my opinion. Leonine Misbegotten is a C. They're not too bad. The only fight that I have a hard time with is the Crucible Knights and the Leonine Misbegotten in the in Radahn's Fortress there. So Lich Dragon Fortisax, though, high A tier. He's got a really cool moveset, really cool lore, really cool, like, where you go to find him feels very like secret, and stumbling upon that naturally is always really cool. Lion Guardian, I don't remember it being a specific boss anywhere, so technically that should put it in who, but going off of what I know from them in like Castle Soul, they are kind of difficult to fight when there's two of them, but as a boss I'm going to put them in who. Loretta, Knight of the Halig Tree, we're going to put in high B tier. I also made the realization that these two are literally the same person, so that was kind of goofy. But yeah, Loretta, Knight of the Halig Tree, B tier. Fun fight, not overly difficult, but really cool arena. Even if it's a little too big for kind of what she does. But Mad Pumpkinhead, F tier, not very difficult. He's not even like, I don't think he has any cool lore. If I'm wrong in that, let me know. But yeah, F tier he goes. Mimic tier. Now, if you do what I normally do and strip him naked and then give him fists while you re-get dressed and beat him up, it's not a very fun fight. If you do it the way it's, I think, intended to do, where you bring all of your clothes and everything in and make it a build versus build, it's actually a lot of fun. I don't think I'm going to put him any higher than B tier. We'll put him like up here with Loretta. But that's also because you eventually get the Mimic tier summon, which is still the best summon in the game. Miranda the Blighted Bloom, F. Just a big flower. Nothing to write home about. Design, not hard. I don't even think she does any other attacks besides the Poison Mist. So, F, for sure. Moog the Omen. He's just chilling out. Gets you, he blocks the hardest puzzle in the game with the jumping and getting to the fucking fingerprint door. His shackle can fuck him up. He's alright. He's a C tier. Moog, Lord of Blood, though, is an S tier for me. The allegations have been cleared, which is cool. And his design is cool. His moveset is cool. Having to track down an item to stop the kneel spell is cool. Like, there's just a lot of, like, I think mystery to him, especially, like, in just the base game, that I think is really cool. And, allegations cleared, I guess. So, Magma Worm, we're going to put in D tier. Not very difficult, not overly, hard to deal with, but Magma Worm is a D tier. Melania, Blade of Mikola. She's going to go up here to S. But it's one of those things where I feel like her boss fight is meant to be kind of in Sekiro, especially like the waterfowl dance like that. That move I feel like was perfect for for Sekiro style parrying, and we don't get that necessarily. Still the hardest boss in the base game outside of my hardest boss, because like Melania, once you learn kind of what her deal is, she's hard but not that bad. I have a different boss that will kick my ass every time that we'll get to, and it might surprise you guys. And yeah, we'll get there. Malekith the Black Blade is an A tier. Really cool fight. Love the jumping around in the pillars. Love the design. Love the lore. Fun fight. Great fight. Not necessarily an S tier for me. Why? I really can't put it into... I can't express why. I just feel in my heart that he is next to Godfrey in terms of A tier. Like, when I think of Elden Ring bosses, these are the guys that I think of, which you guys might disagree with it, and cool. Like, we can talk about it in the comments for sure. Margit the Fell Omen, when I first fought him, I was shocked at all the delays and everything that he was pulling off, like stuff that was endgame Dark Souls stuff. And his shackle makes it a little easier if you get it from patches. I'm going to put him in D tier, I think. His voice actor is good, though. Morgoth the Omen King, I'm going to put in C tier as well. Not overly complicated. Big arena, which is easy to dodge his moves. The spear thing's the only thing that really gets me, and even then, you just learn to dodge through it. So, I'm going to give him a C tier. Knights Cavalry, I'm going to put in D tier. I love to cheese the one in Kaled. I think it's Lenny's Rise, where you have him jump over the bridge. It's a clean 40k souls. Easy guy, not overly complicated. But, yeah, he's D tier. Nox Duo, same thing. I actually F for Nox Duo. I remember them. I remember what they're guarding. I think it's Terra Magica eventually. And they're just not overly enjoyable to fight. There's nothing to write home about them. F tier. Omen Killer will kill me every time. Without fail. Every single time. Cool lore, cool arena. He's C tier. Patches, as a boss, like strictly as a boss, is an F. He quits out halfway through, for starters. And he's not really a boss. Like, I just wanted to steal your shit, bro. It's not that deep. Not a boss, in my opinion. Great character as a whole, though. So, F tier. Onyx Lord, we're going to put in D tier. I don't remember. I'm going to put him in who. I remember him. I don't remember what he gives you. His design is just a dude in gray. He's just a gray dude with underwear. Like, nothing right to write home about. Trisha. I'm going to call her Patricia from now on. But Perfumer Trisha, who? I don't remember you. Putrid Tree Spirit, F. I fucking hate fighting these guys. Their hitboxes are awful. I'm going to always die to getting eaten once. Which, by my logic, should put them like up here because of the difficulty. But I think they're so boring to fight. And their hitboxes are still bad. So, Radagon of the Golden Order, we're going to put in S. I'm a big fan of the Radagon fight. I think he's got a cool move set. I think the arena is cool and mysterious. I like the lore. He's just cool, and I wish that they had done a little bit more with him. Or the Red Wolf of Radagon, we're going to put in B tier. I've been dying a lot more to the Red Wolf as I move along. He's very spongy, but for some reason hits me like a truck. So I, will die at least once or twice to him, regularly now, which again, early on I don't think I died to him at all, but now that I play, I always get killed by him at least once or twice being greedy, so I'm going to put him in B tier. Rykard is an S tier. Yes, he's a gimmick fight, but his arena is cool, his design is cool, his voice acting is hilarious, with the whole, together! Yeah, he's awesome. He's a cool guy. Scaly Misbegotten F. Honestly, I'm going to put him in who. I don't remember who Scaly Misbegotten is. Gideon Ofnir. B tier. Gideon is lore purposes. Like, I don't really get his whole deal. If somebody wants to explain it or send me a VOD video, let me know. And I appreciate it. Because Gideon, I never understood. Like, especially the first time I played through, I was like, what the why is he betraying me? Like, I didn't get it. And, mid-monologue, of course, you just molly stomp him, and that's it. Like, he's not overly difficult. But he's a cool fight if you let him be a cool fight. So that's why I'm putting him at B tier. Soldier of God, Rick. He's going to go into F tier. But the memes want me to put him higher, even though it's a silly kind of played out joke now. Spirit Collar Snail, also an F tier. Gimmick fight that was cool at first, now it's just annoying. Regal Ancestor Spirit is a C tier. I don't really die to Regal Ancestor Spirit, nor do I die to the regular Ancestor Spirit, but I love the fight because it's very beautiful and the music's not overly bombastic. Like, it's kind of like you just stumbled upon this deer and now you're killing it. So I hope you feel good about yourself. Renala, Queen of the Full Moon. This was probably the hardest ones that I had to place because, as a whole, I don't like Renala's fight. I don't think it's very fun. I don't think it is overly difficult. But the arena is nice. Getting the ability to rebirth is nice. I'm going to put her in high B tier because of that. Royal Knight Loretta, I'm going to put in C tier. You know, I'm Mew, but better is essentially what Knight of the Hallowed Tree Loretta says. So, yeah. Royal Revenant, I'm going to put in D. I don't really consider them bosses. Cool design, though. Rune Bear is going to be the same spot. Actually, I'm going to put Rune Bear as an F. I don't see Rune Bear being a boss, and where I avoid them in the overworld like the Plague because they're just that much of a pain in the ass. Like, I don't really see them as a boss. And the Rune Bear, I forget whatever cave it's in, but yeah, it's just kind of there. And the arena's small if I remember right, so F. It's not a fun boss fight. Radon is an S tier. This probably isn't like a controversial opinion at all, but I love the Radon fight. I think that Radon and his lore is really cool. I love using the Phantoms because it feels like you're actually going into a battle, and it was such a unique feeling to a FromSoft boss game that, like, that first time having that fight was awesome. And now, like, soloing him every time, too, feels good as well. So, yeah, he's going up in S tier for sure. Stone Digger Troll, I'm going to put an F. I don't think the Troll is anything to write home about, nor do I think Tibia Mariner is anything to write home about. They're both just there. So, yeah. Tree Sentinel. I remember launch day, game came out. I played a little bit at midnight, ran around. But the morning after, I was like, okay, I took the day off of work. We're going to just play. And then I proceeded to spend the next 8 to 12 hours fighting just the Tree Sentinel with my cousin, because soloing him was not working. Summoning other people wasn't working, so I summoned my cousin. We both did it together. It took hours, and I remember being terrified running back into the church and having him destroy the church. That first Tree Sentinel fight, I want to put it up in like high B tier. Draconic Tree Sentinel will also beat me every time. The rest of them are kind of not much to write home about, but high B tier, because of all of the good times that I've had fighting that boss over the years. Valiant Gargoyle, we're going to put in B. Not necessarily like, you know, these top couple spots are like the top, but the rest of these don't have a particular order. So, like, you know, he'd go here. It's not really mattering. But Valiant Gargoyle's kind of a cool fight, cool arena. Hard to find, though, I feel like sometimes, and maybe that's just because I'm dumb and I don't go underground all that often. But, yeah, Valiant Gargoyle's a B tier for me. Wormface is an F. I don't consider him a boss at all. The Abductor Virgins, though, I will put as a C. The ones in, like, the Seathwater area will always kill me at least once or twice. I don't know why. But, yeah, cool design. They'll beat my ass, and we'll go from there. Aiden, Thief of Fire. I don't remember who that is. I know I fought Aiden, but I don't remember what's what. So, Alabaster Lord. We're going to put in D tier. Yeah, not much to say about Alabaster Lord either. Electo. Easy to cheese, so it's going to go into C tier. But the reward you get for beating Electo is very nice, so we're going to put Electo in C tier. Ancestor Spirit, same thing as Regal Ancestor Spirit. They're kind of the same thing. I still feel like an asshole for killing them. Ancient Heroes Zamor. I remember fighting them up in the mountaintops. I don't really remember fighting them as a boss. Like, I know they're in a couple dungeons, of course, but kind of forgettable. Now, Estelle, to me, and every time I fight Estelle, is the hardest boss in the game for me every single run. I dread fighting Estelle. I don't know why. Big wide open area, should be plenty of area to dodge. I still get clapped as going in S tier because Estelle beats me every time. Stars of Darkness, though, we're going to put in A tier. I'm going to put in B tier. I don't die as often to Stars of Darkness as I do Natural Born. Natural Born is probably my least favorite boss in the game, of terms of I have to fight him again, oh boy, and just that dread. So if we're gonna rank like these top guys, we're gonna put Radon up here. Then we're going to say Moog, Melania, Placidus Axe. Yeah. Yeah, that looks good. So yeah, that's my list for all the Elden Ring bosses. If you guys have any questions, want to call me a goober or something, please do. Once again, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time.